All right, let's dive into the world of dental technicians. Getting ready for a job interview for this, huh? I bet it's exciting and maybe a little nerve-wracking all at the same time.
It definitely can be, but that's why we're here, to help you nail that interview. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been doing this for years.
Exactly. So think of this as your cheat sheet. We've got some really cool resources, especially from RoleCatcher. They've got these career guides and even interview guides just for dental technicians.
And we'll dig into all of that to help you figure out what those interviewers really want to hear. We'll help you show off your skills and how passionate you are about this work.
Because you're not just making dentures, right?
No way, you're creating all kinds of custom dental devices, bridges, crowns, you name it, stuff that really makes a difference in people's lives.
So it's like a blend of art and technology all happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide kind of gives us a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's a lot about precision and problem solving. You're working with all these materials like porcelain and acrylics, even metals sometimes.
Speaking of materials, that's actually a classic interview question.
Yeah.
They might ask you, can you explain your knowledge of dental materials and their properties? What's the best way to handle that one?
You want to show that you're not just listing stuff off, like why would you choose porcelain for a crown?
Right. It's got to be about more than just the names of things.
Exactly. Porcelain is strong and looks great, perfect for a crown. But for dentures, you might need acrylics because they're more flexible and tough.
So it's like you're explaining why you'd pick one tool over another. You know, you're the expert picking the right tool for the job. What if they follow up with, can you give an example of when you had to choose between two materials and why?
That's your chance to tell a story. Like, maybe you had to choose between a metal and a ceramic for a bridge. Talk about the patient, how tough it needed to be, and how it would look. All those things matter.
Makes sense. It's always better to hear a real example than just, theory. All right, next question. They might ask, how do you ensure the accuracy and quality of the dental prosthetics you create? What's your strategy for that one?
This is where you want to emphasize how careful you are, how committed you are to doing top-notch work. Checking those measurements twice, making sure everything fits perfectly.
That's like you're saying, I don't just meet the standard, I go above and beyond.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention the tools of the trade. Articulators, CAD/CAM systems, all those high-tech things that help us be even more precise.
Right. Those systems are pretty amazing. Which leads us to another question interviewers like to ask. How do you stay up to date in this field? Because technology and materials are always changing.
Oh, absolutely. Show them you're passionate about keeping up. Talk about the journals you read, those online resources you can't live without, maybe workshops or conferences you've been to. All that stuff shows you're serious about staying ahead of the game.
It's like saying, I'm not just here for a job. I'm invested in the future of this whole field. And of course, they'll probably ask specifically about tech skills, like, can you describe your experience with CAD/CAM technology?
Time to shine. Talk about the software you've used. Get specific, which modules you're really good at, and any projects where you use those skills. Oh, and if you have certifications, definitely mention those.
Yeah, those certifications are like gold. Okay, now let's get into the real nitty-gritty. They might ask you to walk them through making a crown.
It's like painting a picture for them with words. Start from that first impression and go all the way to the final polish. Be clear and concise.
And make sure to highlight all those details about precision, safety, and attention to detail that are just built into every step.
It's like a little behind-the-scenes tour of your process.
Exactly. Even if you don't have years of experience, you can still rock this answer. Just show them how much you want to learn and how excited you are about this kind of work. Okay, what about dentures? What if they ask, can you describe your experience working with dentures? Especially if you're newer to the field.
If you haven't had a ton of hands-on experience, that's okay. Be honest about that. But talk about the different types of dentures, the materials they're made of, full dentures, partial dentures, acrylics, porcelain. Explain those basics and just show them that you're eager to learn more and get more experience.
Makes sense. Turn it into an opportunity to show you're a fast learner. Now, here's one that can throw people off. Can you tell us about a particularly challenging project you worked on as a dental technician?
They want to see how you solve problems. Think of a project that was tough. Maybe the design was complicated, or the deadline was crazy, or the material was hard to work with. Tell them about it, what was hard, how you tackled it, what choices you made, and what the outcome was.
So it shows you can think on your feet, even when things get tough. All right, what if they get a little more specific and ask about orthodontic appliances? Like, can you tell us about your experience with orthodontic appliances? What if orthodontics hasn't been your main focus?
Honesty is the best policy here.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of experience in that specific area, just say so. But then talk about the skills you do have that could apply. You can talk about braces, retainers, the materials involved, that kind of thing.
So it's about showing you can adapt and you're willing to learn new things, which is super important in this field. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's crucial in any lab, working with other people. What if they ask, can you tell us about a time when you had to resolve a conflict with a coworker or supervisor?
Ah, they want to see your communication skills. Pick an example where you worked through a disagreement successfully. Focus on how you communicated, how you listened, and how you found a solution that worked for everyone.
It's not about winning an argument, right?
Yeah, right. It's about being a team player and creating a good vibe in the lab. Okay, before we move on to more questions, let's talk about how RoleCatcher can help you get ready for this interview. Like really, really ready. They're amazing. It's like having this secret weapon that analyzes your resume, compares it to the job description. It helps you see where you can beef things up.
So it's a personalized resume coach almost. How does that even work?
Well, you just upload your resume and the job description. Then the AI goes to work, looks for keywords, spots any skills that might be missing. It even suggests ways to tweak your resume so it really matches what they're looking for.
Wow. So it's like having an AI recruiter in your corner, making sure you stand out. That's incredible. But what about actually practicing your answers? Can this AI help with that too?
You bet. RoleCatcher can do these mock interviews. You practice answering those common questions, and it gives you feedback like, hey, maybe try saying it this way. It looks at your words, your tone, even how fast you're talking.
That's so cool. It's like having a personal coach, but without someone staring you down.
Yeah.
Helps you find those areas where you can improve and feel more confident. Okay, so RoleCatcher can help you make that resume awesome and practice your answers. But what about other advice, like from the career guide? What can help you really stand out in this field?
The career guide really emphasizes how important it is to keep learning. It's a field that's constantly evolving. Workshops, online courses, joining professional organizations like the National Association of Dental Laboratories, all those things show you're serious about staying on top of your game.
It's like you're saying, hey, I'm not just here for a paycheck. I'm passionate about this, and I want to keep getting better. Speaking of showing you're serious, the career guide also talks about certifications. What are some of the big ones in this field?
Yeah, becoming a certified dental technician, CDT, is a big deal. Shows you've met some really high standards. There are also more specialized certifications, like the Certified Dental Laboratory Technician or the Registered Dental Technician. Those can really boost your credentials.
So it's like having these badges of honor proving your expertise.
Yeah.
Any other tips from the career guide on how to show off your talents?
One thing they recommend is putting together a portfolio, a way to show, not just tell, what you can do.
Love that. It's like your own dental art exhibit.
Yeah.
What kinds of things should go in a dental technician's portfolio?
Definitely high quality photos of your best work. Maybe before and after shots to really show the impact. A mix of different devices, crowns, bridges, dentures, even orthodontic stuff if you've done it.
Like a highlight reel of all the amazing things you've created. Okay, we've covered a lot. The role itself, interview questions, AI prep, even career tips. But let's get back to those interview questions. Remember, we want you to walk into that interview feeling confident and prepared. So let's say they ask you to describe a time you had to deal with a difficult patient or situation. How do you approach those kinds of questions?
Yeah, those behavioral questions can be tricky. They're really trying to figure out what you're like to work with, your communication, your problem-solving skills, how you handle things when they get tough.
So, what if a patient wasn't happy with their dentures? How could you use that as an example?
You could talk about how you really listened to them, tried to understand why they were upset, and then how you worked with them to find a solution. Maybe you adjusted the dentures, gave them more instructions, or even got the dentist involved.
It's all about showing you can handle those tough situations with grace and that you really care about your patients. Okay, here's another one. Can you tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a patient or a coworker? How would you answer that?
It's your chance to show that you're dedicated, that you're willing to go the extra mile. Think of a time when you did more than what was expected. Maybe you stayed late to finish a rush order, or helped a coworker who was struggling.
Like maybe you saw a coworker drowning in work and offered to help even though it meant staying late yourself.
Exactly. Shows you're a team player. That you're willing to put in the extra effort. And that's something people really value, especially in a dental lab where everyone needs to work together.
Makes sense. Okay, what about this one? Why are you interested in working at this particular dental lab? How do you make your answer specific and show that you've done your homework?
This is where your research pays off. Find something specific about that lab that you really like. Maybe it's their reputation, their commitment to using the latest technology, or maybe they specialize in a particular area that you're really interested in.
So if you're all about those digital dentures, and this lab is known for its awesome CAD/CAM work in that area, that's something you'd want to mention.
For sure. It shows you're not just sending out random applications, you've taken the time to learn about them. Makes you stand out.
Okay, let's get real for a second. Salary expectations. It's a question that can make even the most experienced person sweat a little. How do you handle it without, selling yourself short or seeming unrealistic?
Research is key. Find out what dental technicians typically make in your area. Take into account your experience and your skills. Websites like salary.com or Glassdoor can help with that.
So you're not just pulling a number out of thin air.
Nope. You're coming in with data to back it up. Then, when they ask about your salary expectations, you can say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm looking for a salary in the range of whatever the range is. But also, I'm open to talking more about it depending on the specific responsibilities and opportunities.
That's a good way to be flexible while still showing you know what you're worth. All right, let's wrap up this interview prep with a question that often comes at the end. They lean back and say, do you have any questions for me? How do you use that to not only get info, but also make a good final impression?
It's your time to shine. Asking good questions shows them you're really interested, not just in the job, but in the lab itself.
Yeah, like you're taking charge for a minute. You're not just waiting around to see if they like you. You're actively figuring out if you like them.
Exactly. What kind of questions make a good impression? Well, you could ask about the lab's culture, what it's like to work there, or, about chances to learn and grow, maybe even how they handle those really tough cases.
Like, what do you look for in a dental technician here? Or what are some of the toughest things and the most rewarding things about working in this field? Stuff like that.
Perfect examples. Those questions show you're thinking beyond just the technical stuff. You're thinking about the bigger picture.
And let's be honest, it helps you figure out if this is the right place for you.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. You're both trying to figure out if it's a good fit.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot today. We've explored what it means to be a dental technician. We've tackled those interview questions that can be a little intimidating, and we've even got some AI secrets to help you prep like a pro.
Don't forget those career tips. Keeping up with the latest, getting certified, building that portfolio, all those things will help you go far in this field.
It's like building your own toolkit for success. All those technical skills, knowing how to work with people, and being passionate about this work. That's the recipe, right? So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one last thought to leave with our listeners who are about to head into those interviews?
Now that you've seen what goes into this career, the artistry, the tech, working with patients, what kind of dental devices are you most excited to create? It's not just a job, it's a chance to use your skills to really make a difference in people's lives.
That's a great way to put it. And to all those future dental technicians out there, remember, being prepared is everything.
Yeah.
With what we've talked about today, you're going to walk into those interviews ready to rock.
You got this. Go out there and make those amazing devices that are going to put smiles on faces. We're rooting for you. And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. They've got some awesome resources to help you along the way.